Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the live stream here on the channel. Apologies for the consistent delays and also pushbacks. I did it like literally 8 times today. The start time was all over the place. So I apologize for that. I just didn't know exactly when these storms were going to get going. I think they're starting to get going now. So that should give us some time to, overview the severe threat and then cover it once it starts. So let's see what we have in the chat today. We have Sam Pez. Let's see, Caleb. Siege, Tornado. Wait, Sam and Tornado guy are the same person. Random guy, Lakeisha. Let's see. And everybody else who is watching who may not be chatting, or maybe anyone I missed. Glad to have you in here as well, Misty and Rhonda. So let's go ahead and change to our main scene. Let me just make sure this is okay. That should be fixed to where you guys just see that. And hopefully not my other scene. Okay, good. That's what I wanted. So yeah, we don't have any severe warnings right now, so we can't use our severe scene, but this is what we're looking at right now across Kansas and Nebraska. We have our morning and afternoon convection is finally getting out of here. That's moved into Manhattan. Doesn't seem right because I only remember Manhattan in New York, but Manhattan, Wichita, it's moved off towards y'all. Not really much severe weather with that. We have had 1 or 2 severe storms in that entire line over the last 6-7 hours or so. But our main thunderstorm activity today will most likely be focused on the northern side and the southern side of our cold front. You can see new storms starting to fire off east of Dodge City. I'm going to watch those close because I think that will be more of a hail threat and a damaging wind threat, but we could end up seeing a tornado threat out of that as well. And that's what I'm most curious for, is a tornado threat potential down there. And of course, we have our one storm that is out here in north central Kansas that could end up being an all hazards threat. So there's a few areas to keep an eye on here. And yeah, let's go ahead and look at our SPC outlook. There's your new slight risk, or yeah, it is your new slight risk. So you guys haven't seen that slight risk yet, so it is new to you guys. We have a big slight risk for severe weather today. Damaging winds, 5%, or yeah, this is damaging winds. We have a 5% chance of that every 25 miles of given point. Hail, we have a 15% chance of every 25 miles of given point. So we could see 2-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and of course we do have a tornado threat as well. That tornado threat is pretty minimal. It's a large 2% chance, so there's definitely an opportunity for a tornado or two today, but it's still a low chance for tornadoes overall. The new commands, Caleb, I'll go ahead and tell you. I got a list of them over here on my other monitor. That's if I can find it. Where do these things go? Well, you know what? I'll just pull up the backup. I have it on two different sites, so that way I don't lose the commands. But yeah, so the new command is exclamation Twitter, exclamation NHC, exclamation SPC, exclamation snow, exclamation radar, and exclamation WPC. Those are all your new commands so far. I guess you want an exclamation watches too, which I didn't hear that one. I did not hear that one, but sure. So yeah, we'll continue to monitor this slight risk for severe weather. In my opinion, that slight does go a little bit far east. I really think we have just a very small window of opportunity in this little area here and this area in here for an all hazards threat. In the middle, I really don't think we'll see much convection in the middle. I feel like we're just going to have a capping that stays in place most of the time in and around the Great Bend area. So these are the two areas that I will be watching the most for an all hazards threat. And we'll see if that ends up verifying over the next couple of hours. But let's go ahead and dive on into what the ingredients are here. I'll start with the continental U.S. Really quick. Let me change that sector to the continental U.S. and we'll do this one to where is it? 500 millibars. So yeah, here is your meso analysis. We are going to get a new one here very soon, but we'll just look at this one anyways. But yeah, here is your 500 millibar trough ejection out here in Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma. You can see it is definitely a negatively tilted trough. It's not that strong. It's nothing impressive by any means, but we do have a trough there that is causing the potential for severe weather, of course. If we go and look at your lower level jet stream, we actually, for the first time in a while, we actually have a decent lower level jet in place. Now, it's not in the best positioning here. It needs to be a little bit more off to the west, but it's not. So these storms are really going to be the only storms that are able to take advantage of that 35 to near 40 knot lower level jet stream. So we'll keep a very close eye on those storms, see if they can grow upscale enough. Here's your instability, and this is a little bit old, so you know the instability has moved a slightly bit more to the east. The capping has probably weakened a bit on the east side as well, so there's a better environment out here than what this mesoanalysis is currently showing. But generally, we have a very large plume of 1,000 instability in a good chunk of our western risk area, where those storms are firing off, which should be enough to sustain these storms to have the threat for severe weather. And in terms of wind shear is not going to be an issue today. I didn't look. Yeah, your lower level wind shear could still end up being a bit of an issue, but in the terms of your mid-level and upper-level wind shear, those won't be an issue. We have plenty of wind shear out there, thanks to that negatively tilted trough ejection. Lapse rates, the lower-level lapse rates, this is your mid-level real quick. Mid-level looks perfectly fine. I mean, it is a little lower, but it's doable. But your lower level lapse rates is the big issue because of that, the afternoon convection that went through. It added a lot more cloud cover, took off some instability, added some capping. So your lower level lapse rates aren't that good, as well as your instability is not that high, and your capping is still somewhat lingering. So definitely not the best environment for severe weather. If I go and show you your supercell composite, that's your general best area for tornadic activity today, generally where you have that supercell composite in place. And of course, if you go too far south, we're not going to see any convection that far south. So yeah, your best environment for tornadoes is really most of your risk area and all of your 2% chance for tornadoes. So just got to keep a very close eye on storms today. Not really expecting a whole lot out of them. There's your first severe thunderstorm warning that we've seen in quite a while. I mean, we did have a severe, when I made the video earlier today, we had a severe in far south central Kansas. That was just a normal severe. And ever since then, we finally got a new severe. This is for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds, so it's a very low-end severe thunderstorm warning. And yeah, it's a severe storm. It's not that impressive. It's just a storm that is managing to have some more lightning activity, some small hail, and isolated damaging winds that will be possible with it. Hello from Alabama. Well, thankfully, we're not going to be looking down there for severe weather anytime soon. There's nothing that hints towards Dixie Alley waking up in October, or the rest of October. So we'll probably have to start watching the Deep South as we go into like late November. Maybe. Don't quote me on that one. Yeah, northern Kansas is definitely the best opportunity for tornadoes, probably with this specific storm here going towards Phillipsburg. It doesn't seem like we have, the best environment in place, but since that storm is discrete, it should be able to take up some of the environment out here and potentially become tornadic. So as long as it stays by itself, that could quite easily start spinning. Which unfortunately we don't have any good radars in that area. So it will be very difficult to tell if it's actually spinning or not. But yeah, here's our other storms going up east of Dodge City. Those should slowly intensify over the next hour. Our peak activity should be from about 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. That should be our primary threat for all hazards. And it should be a relatively short event, kind of like what we've had over the last 3 days. Just a quick 2, maybe 3 hour event today. And since we did get an upgrade, I do plan to stream for about 2 hours, maybe a little longer. If it stayed marginal, I would have just done a quick hour stream, but it did get upgraded. So I appreciate you guys being in here. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, share the stream if you can. It's greatly appreciated. And yeah, hopefully everybody's having a great day so far. I don't even know what day it is. Monday? Is it Monday? It's Monday. Ha. I knew what day it was. That's a shocker. Days are going by so fast. Just because we've been doing so much severe coverage. We've done 3 days worth of severe weather coverage so far. And probably going to take a good break, probably a 2 to 3 day break for a good chunk of the midweek. And then we'll probably have a live stream like Friday or Thursday. I don't know which day yet. But there's not going to be that much weather in the U.S. This week outside of this, this severe threat today. Let me switch back over there. Just want to make sure, see if that mesoanalysis is coming in, because I do want to know if that capping is more east or not. All right, well, apparently we have the new mesoanalysis in, and it really doesn't show much of a difference at all, which is interesting. So we do have a capping that's still lingering thanks to the afternoon convection, and we're not that high up on instability either. So like I said, definitely not the best environment for tornadoes today. But yeah, if you're just now tuning in, this is what we're looking at across Nebraska and Kansas. We're starting to see some severe weather pop up here in south central Nebraska, northwestern Kansas. We're keeping an eye on a discrete supercell that is formed out here, a county to the north of Hayes, Nebraska. That is going to be our best opportunity to produce a tornado in about the next hour and a half or so as it moves up to the northeast. We're also going to keep an eye on some showers and thunderstorms that are trying to form west of Pratt, Kansas. Those could eventually become a hail threat, damaging wind threat, and maybe a very low-end tornado threat in the next hour or so. I do want to quickly go over tropics here before we end up getting, too much severe weather, if we even end up with that today. But here's our current National Hurricane Center outlook. This is your, whoa, hold on. Let me go back. Okay. Yeah, this is your 5 o'clock advisory. Still no AOI anywhere in the entirety of the Atlantic. We just have Tropical Storm Oscar out there. That is it. We do have a lot of signals, as I mentioned in our video earlier today, of a tropical system that could try to develop out here in the Caribbean. It is too far out, but we're getting to the window of where we're going to have to start watching it. It's about a little over 240 hours out, so it's still in that, it's still in the Fantasyland ordeal and Fantasyland runs, but we have a lot of ensembles that are hinting towards it. If it was just a GFS model run, we'd throw it away, but it's a lot of our GFS and European ensembles, which is something that is definitely, an eye-opener with that, because we have the European and the GFS ensembles agreeing. So definitely going to watch this area from like October 27th or 8th all the way through mid-November until we finally start to close out hurricane season. It looks like our season's going to really start becoming inactive at around like November 18th or so, based on some longer range models. Remember, the last day of hurricane season is November 30th, so we only have a little over a month left of the official hurricane season. And that's Oscar. They did end up upgrading those tropical storm watches to warnings for the southeastern Bahamas. Not surprised by that. And then in the EPAC, whoa, actually, we have Tropical Storm Christy. A little interesting there. Do they have it, like, barely not being a major hurricane? Yep, 5 miles per hour shy of a major hurricane. I was going to say, because this is definitely going to try its best to run for a major hurricane out here in the Eastern Pacific. We could end up with a major hurricane Thursday or Friday, around that time frame. But thankfully, it's going to be a fish storm. That's in the Eastern Pacific. Let's see. Yeah, there. I was trying to think of the K name in the Atlantic. It was Kirk, I think. But yeah, there was actually a time where our Eastern Pacific was really far ahead of our Atlantic in storm names. Like the EPAC was 3 tropical storm names ahead of the Atlantic, and now the Atlantic is much further ahead. What, we're like 4 named storms ahead? I had to think. I was thinking. I think we're 4 named storms ahead in the Atlantic now than the Eastern Pacific. Stream elements for your channel. I don't know what that is. What's that? Never heard of it. Unless you're talking about. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. This storm here. Let's see. Like I said, we have bad radar data, so we don't really have any, radar sites that are close to this storm, so we're not going to know a whole lot about it. We won't have good radar data for it, but yeah, I mean, it has a good look to it. It has a good look to it. Where is this at? Okay. So we'll just continue to watch this. At the moment, it's just going to be a small hail producer. We'll wait and see if the National Weather Service ends up, well, putting that on it. There you go. That's literally what I was just about to say. There's our new severe thunderstorm warning for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. That's actually kind of crazy because that's exactly what I was about to say. I was about to say we'll see if the National Weather Service ends up issuing a severe warning on this or not, but there you go. They sure did. So we're now up to 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. Both of these are just for hail and wind. Very low in severe storms at the moment. Well, Nightbot's good enough at the moment, Caleb. Nightbot is a little bit aggressive with the caps, but I mean, I could fix that. The only thing is if I fix that, people are probably going to start really spamming caps, so. Let me go back up to, I'm going to go back to this. Nope, not this one. This one. Here. Interesting. Is there a closer radar site that I'm missing? Yeah, maybe that one in south central Nebraska. That one might be way closer. Let's open a 3rd radar site here. Yeah, it's definitely closer. That way we can see this storm a little bit better, potentially. I mean, not really. It's closer, but it still doesn't give us the best radar data here. But you can see this storm's definitely producing, near 1-inch hail west of Beaver City. So if you're in either one of these severe storms, just make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows, as these storms continue to slowly, and I mean slowly, intensify. We'll see what this threat looks like in about an hour or so, because that's when our peak activity should really be happening. About 6:30 p.m. Eastern is when your peak starts. But we are already seeing some severe thunderstorm warnings issued here. Let me go ahead and check. I'm going to wait for the new HRRR. I'm always waiting for the HRRR, man. Every time one HRRR finishes, I'm ready to see the next one. But that's your slight risk for severe weather. That's your level 2 out of 5. Mainly for, actually, just for hail. If we didn't have a 15% chance for hail, we wouldn't have a slight risk. So your primary threat today is definitely going to be large hail, potentially up to 2-inch in diameter. That tornado threat is definitely low, but still very much present. Like I said, we're going to keep an eye on these northern storms, as well as this rain shower here west of Pratt, for the potential of an all hazards threat. So 2 areas to really watch. In the middle, we're still, of course, going to keep an eye on that, but I just don't see much confidence in anything forming in the Hayes area. So yeah, if you're watching from this area in here, in Hayes, I think you'll be perfectly fine, but still, stay weather aware. And you know, just keep an eye on things just in case. These storms could develop pretty quick. We don't have the best environment, but still 1,000 instability, that's enough to get storms to fire pretty quickly. Uh, let's see, I'm going to quickly go check mesoanalysis again. Yeah, this is definitely in the best environment in Phillipsburg. Honestly, if this doesn't produce a good area of rotation, I don't think we'll be dealing with much tornadic activity today. Because that's in your lower level jet. That's where the wind shear is the best. The instability is not the best here, but it's still pretty good. You don't have much capping in this particular area for like the next hour or so, and then it's going to start hitting that capped environment. Your dew point temperature spread is still pretty significant. I mean, you're looking at about 67 over 55. So that's what 11 degree temperature dew point spread. So we might be a little bit on the elevated side of things here. But we'll just keep an eye on it just in case. You can find Lucky's, but you couldn't find mine. Well, that's interesting. I'm doing good, Samuel. Just watching this severe threat popping off here. Oh, I didn't even realize that. Hold on, let's go back to this radar. Nope. This radar. Nope. This one. Yeah, this storm did not sustain, did it? Interesting. Well, I have like 3 good reasons on why. Barely any lower level wind shear. Very low lower level lapse rates. And capped environment. So those are 3 good reasons on why that storm probably didn't fire. I mean, it fired, it just didn't sustain. We'll see if it tries to come back or not. But right now, it's a dying rain shower. Let's go back up to... Ooh! I do gotta say, that does look pretty dang good. It doesn't look, the best, but it has a good supercell look to it. This would most likely be rotating if it didn't have a cell merge that is hitting it to the south. So after it's done that cell merge in about 15 minutes, this storm just might be able to become tornadic here. So we're going to keep an eye on this one. Phillipsburg, Glade. You guys should definitely watch this one closely. North Central Kansas. And then later down the line, this is going to get into Nebraska. I think its best opportunity to rotate will be directly after this cell merge. So we're talking like Phillipsburg, Speed, and Glade. Those are going to be the 3 areas that I would keep an eye on for a potential area of rotation getting to those 3 towns in about 30 minutes or so. Right after it's done that cell merge, it's going to have the best opportunity. And then after that, it's going to start moving out of your good environment. Yeah, we're starting to get some storms trying to fire in the middle here. Yeah, you can see all these little puffs. See all these little puffs that are trying to get going. But they're not really succeeding. This one is our far southern storm that's near Greensburg. But those puffs in the middle, I don't think they're going to be able to really be anything. This is your current satellite imagery. We'll take off your radar. You can clearly tell that you're in a much more stable environment down here. Very, very stable environment. That's not what storms need to increase in strength. We do have a bit of a stable environment up here near Kearney as well, thanks to these storms. You know, they're lingering a little bit longer, but definitely a better environment in this area here, and also a better environment like near Pratt too. So generally those two areas. I do want to see overlay that with radar. Yeah, that storm did fire a little bit too far north. You can see it fired a little bit more in that more stable environment, aka capped out and less instability. So that's probably why it's not succeeding. But pretty good setup today in terms of like just the overall look. I mean, you have a very clear low pressure right in here. Very clear cold front, very clear warm front too. So the setup is definitely like, you know, something you'd see in May. But the overall ingredients and like what the environment looks like is just not, it's not that favorable. You have like at the most you have what 58 dew points getting into central Kansas. Yeah. So you have 60 dew points down into like south central Kansas in this area here. Then you go into like 58, 59 dew points. Then you go into 56-degree dew points in here. So moisture is your biggest limiting factor today. That's going to be what ends up saving us from like a more notable widespread threat for severe weather. Turn your radar back on. We're going to go back to that south radar site. I do have to say this storm, you know, I'm not a meteorologist. I don't have a degree in meteorology, but I think it's pretty safe to say that this storm's starting to die out. I've been tracking weather for 3 years. I'm a trained spotter here in Blacksburg, Virginia, but if you didn't know, I don't have a degree in meteorology. I just like to do this stuff for fun, and helping you guys be weather aware along the way is just a massive benefit. Like you could tell, you can go and ask Lucky. We did not actually think that this was gonna pop off one day. It was literally just something we started out for fun, and that's one of the reasons why I had to start clearing out the older videos. Is because of a reason I won't discuss, but it was just because, you know, we started out and I started getting bigger. I mean, we're up to what, 7.1k subs now? I mean, gracious day. Oh, 7.4k. Jeez. I didn't even know myself, see? Gracious day. That's just insane. But yeah, hopefully we end up with this inactive weather period. I'd absolutely love to have a week of literally like barely anything to track. It just always feels like we're tracking something. Even when I say it looks inactive for a week, something ends up popping up. Almost always something ends up popping up. I want to go back up to... Yeah, there we go. I mean, it's not really sweater weather out here. It's currently 76 degrees and sunny in Southside, Virginia. So, no, I wouldn't exactly be wearing a sweater outside. You do you, but I'm still wearing my shorts until it gets into the 40s, okay? Once it hits 49 degrees, then I'll start putting on, you know, sweatpants. But as long as we're above 49, it's shorts. We're down to one severe storm now. Just this one storm in Phillipsburg. It's very clustered and messy. If we keep seeing storms fire off like this, like we saw a storm here merged with it, another storm here merged with it, these storms merged with it. If we keep seeing that for like the next 30 minutes, this thing's never going to have an opportunity to rotate. Like that short window that I was talking about, in about 25 minutes from now, right, just barely before 6 o'clock, after it's done a cell merge, that window is just not going to be present if it continues cell merges like this. It will just be more of a hail threat and isolated wind threat and no tornado threat, if not an extremely low tornado threat. But we're here just in case. If it doesn't produce, then sweet. If it ends up producing, then we're here for it. We're here to watch it and make sure that you're aware. Let's see here. Misty, I only do that if I have to go out for like literally 2 seconds, but I'm not gonna wear that as like, you know, if I'm going out and if I'm going somewhere and it's 20 degrees out. Nope. So it really seems like this is turning into more of a hail threat. I mean, you can see the different hail cores that are starting to pop up on this storm here. Getting a lot more clustered, a lot more of a clustery hail threat out of this, as opposed to like one discrete supercell trying to rotate. So if we keep seeing this, we probably won't even have to worry one bit about a tornado threat today. I'm gonna go see what one of these storm chasers have here. I hope I muted the audio. I did. Good. I'm smart. I'm smart enough. Yeah, it just looks like it looks like... Oh, I can probably show you generally what it looks like. Yeah, that's like literally what it looks like. It literally looks like just an elevated mess of rain. That's literally what it looks like. So, not that good at all. You're welcome, Cat Man. I saw you tweeted, and I was like, this dude is over here tweeting instead of saying hi in chat. TOG is the person who wears summer clothes in the middle of winter. Indoors? Heck yeah. But if, like I said, if it gets to 49 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, that's when I'm going to start throwing on winter clothes. Sweatpants. But that's why, that's why I'm not really a fan of winter anymore. You know, if it's going to be cold, let it snow. But here in Virginia, the last, 3 years, it's just been cold and ice. Cold and icy. That's it. Cold and icy. So it's not fun. And I don't think this year is going to be any different, honestly. It still looks good for Caleb. Caleb, you still look to be in Snowland. I mean, so far it still looks like the winter forecast is still on track. The only thing that might be different is a lot more heat in the Northeast. It might be a lot hotter than I originally anticipated in New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. A lot more above average. But still, you guys should get a good snow chance. Let's see. Ooh. Y'all, you ready? Look at this. This is some of our early steps to a severe threat. So here's the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. Look at this. We have above average precip. We have above average temperatures. And we have cold in the west. So that's evident. That's evident of a trough ejection moving through the U.S. And not only that, but look at this. We have an outlined risk of a heavy rainfall from the CPC. for the 29th to the 31st. So if you are in that, that's a very early sign from the CPC saying severe weather might be possible in this area at Halloween. Anyone want some Halloween tornadoes? I don't. Right now, it doesn't look all that, it doesn't look all that potent. It looks like a very low wind severe threat, but that could uptrend. So at the moment, it just looks like something that might ruin your trick-or-treating night. That's really what it looks like at the moment. Just something that's going to screw up trick-or-treating. But we'll see if that ends up, increasing, if we end up seeing stronger signals of severe weather. But right now, it's not something to worry about. It is something to just keep an eye on and note, there might be a chance for severe weather on freaking Halloween. But it's definitely nothing to get worried about. And even if it does happen, I expect it to be very minimal severe weather. We shouldn't see anything big. Well, these storms just did bird farts and died out. Now these, they're in a better area. This one, like I said, was just a tad bit too far north in that stable environment. This might have a better opportunity if something can actually get a decent updraft here. But we'll see if this can get a more well-defined updraft. Right now, it's just a couple rain showers. But that's might have a chance. Hello, Legacy. Glad to see you in here. Did YouTube finally decide to put out the notification for y'all? Who actually got the notification I went live? I'm curious. Because I really don't think it was sent out. Glad to see you guys tuning on in here. Let's see. What are lapse rates? Lower level lapse rates are at about 6.5. Mid-level is at like... actually, I might have gotten that reverse. Let me just go check. I'm going to just go check for you. Lower level is at right around 7 lapse rates. Mid-level is about 6.5 to 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that got the notification. 6 people that got the notification. And 3 people that didn't. Well, that means that 33% of people don't get my notification. It could be because you don't have them turned on, or it could just be because YouTube likes to just screw me over. Let's see here. No, I don't want to take a sounding in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Also, if we do get that that trough ejection to pull through and cause rain, maybe severe weather on Halloween, it's going to bring a lot of cooler temperatures to the U.S. too. It would bring some cooler temperatures, not cold, but just cooler. Your highs in Oklahoma might get to like 65. I consider that cool, but not cold. Now, according to the GFS, towards the beginning of November, it's going to get to 27 degrees out here. If that happens, I'm not leaving my house. just flat out, I'm not going outside. If it's 27 degrees outside, I'm not getting out of the house. But that's really far out, so hopefully it doesn't happen. But we'll continue to watch and see if we end up with a severe weather threat, either on Halloween or just barely before Halloween. The 30s? What? It was in the 30s this morning? Jeez. Yeah. No thanks. Okay, let's go back to our storms. I got very distracted over here. Well, this storm is still, I mean, it's trying. Look at it. It still has a good shape to it, but I don't know if it's actually going to be able to do anything because it's in such a clustered mess. It's in such a clustered mess, you know. If it was just this by itself right in here like that, then we'd end up with a good threat for an area of rotation to develop here. Um, but as long as this cluster stays behind it, it's probably not going to be able to do anything. What, stream lagged a bit? Well, maybe just get a little bit better Wi-Fi. I don't know what to tell you, Catman. Jay, let me go ahead and show you. So here's the risk from the Climate Prediction Center of heavy rainfall that could be accompanied by some marginal severe weather between the 29th and the 31st in this general area here. The magnitude of the severe weather is extremely uncertain, but general positioning of it should be somewhere in that slight risk for heavy rain. It's very uncertain on exactly where and how intense the severe weather threat may be. Right now, I mean, at the moment on these models, it looks very minimal. A very low-end threat for severe weather, but we're still going to monitor it, keep an eye on it. That's going to be our next thing to talk about is the, the potential for severe weather in that area, as well as the potential for a tropical system to form in the Caribbean as we go into early November. So, like I said, I'm going to take probably a 3 or so day break from YouTube and just try to recover from the last 3 live streams, even though they really weren't that bad. Give me just a moment. I gotta go reply to Catman because he's desperate for attention right now. No, you're not in that circle. Don't worry, Caleb. Don't worry, dude. You're not in that. You won't get a thing. I decided to put you in the best opportunity to get snow in my winter forecast because I know you won't get anything. Totally. There's your new severe thunderstorm warning there. Warned for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. It still has a pretty good look. Like, that front look to it still has a supercell look here. You could still see where the hook echo would be if it starts to rotate, but it's just not really rotating. Like I said, there's too much of a clustery mess behind it. I better get a nor'easter. You have a much better opportunity, Pez, to be on like the cut line between snow and rain. Like, I have a good feeling we're going to end up with snow, and there's going to be, like, a big snowstorm in this area, and the cut line's going to be right over, like, Pez's house, wherever he lives, somewhere in here. I don't know where he lives, but somewhere in here, and then he's going to end up with just rain. Like, just a mile to his northwest, they're going to have, like, I don't know, near a foot of snow, and then he's going to have 2 inches of rain. I forgot. I think I put you in the risk for nor'easters, Pez, on my winter forecast. Well, I don't think those updrafts survived. Like, where the heck did they go, dude? Where did they even go? Yep, they're already gone. That's what's left of it. That is what's left of our updraft here in far south central Kansas. So, AKA, it did not survive. It did not survive at all. Which is great news. So basically, I mean, we're really going to be just watching this storm for the next hour or so. Caleb, I'm always on the snow line, just because of the elevation where I am. I can't tell you how much snow has fallen in this area here, and I'm most specifically like this region right in here. And you know, I'm in Martinsville, so uh, it's always like just a couple miles to my west, about 20 miles to my west, where we actually end up seeing snow. Last year, I believe I saw some flurries, but I don't think we actually had anything accumulate. Let's see here. What was that? I want to go back and see that. See if I can find that again. If we just had better moisture today, this definitely would have been a whole lot different. It would have been a lot different. But 55-degree dew points and limited instability and a capping. There was quite a lot of things wrong with this severe threat. That honestly, like, the only thing that was good was the trough ejection and the positioning of the low pressure system. That's it. We didn't have any solid ingredients. We had okay shear, we had okay instability, we had way too much capping, we had okay mid-level lapse rates, bad lower level lapse rates. So not a lot worked in favor of these storms, but there's still a chance we end up with a brief spin-up tornado out of this activity. We'll see what the new HRRR has here. It should render in any second. Let's see. Oh, also, you're going to have to be patient for snowstorms this year. I don't expect much snow activity in the like central and eastern side of the U.S. in November. It's probably going to be late December, if not January, before most of us end up seeing snow. Unless you're in the very high elevations or extreme north central side of the U.S. I think it's going to be late, Catman, but I think it's also going to be worth the wait, too. I think it'll be late, but worth the wait. There you go. There's a saying for you. Oh, great. What did Pez do this time? Real question is, what didn't he do? Ah, I see. 2013, you saw 20 inches of snow? Yikes. um... So, yeah, we're just going to continue to watch this storm in Phillipsburg. It's not rotating yet, which is good. Definitely good news. It is eventually, though, going to run out of ingredients to work with here over like the next hour. My voice decides to not work today. It's like I make a 8-9 minute video and then my voice just says that's enough for the day. When I was 3, geez. I can't do that math. I can't do that math. I'm trying to think how old Catman is. What are you, 15? 2009 to 2024. Yeah, you should be 15. Haha! I did the math correctly. Look at that. I'm totally smart. But yeah, we're just going to keep an eye on this severe. Again, it's in Phillipsburg, Kansas. The storms to the south just literally never got going. We'll see if the new HRRR wants those to initiate later on. It's rendering in now, which even if it does, I'm going to disagree with it because I don't think we're going to end up seeing any storms here. And, you know, we do have another storm that's going up near Tipton, which is... I don't think that's in the best environment, but that could be a storm that ends up becoming a bit of a hail threat. We got a hail report of 1-inch hail in Phillipsburg, so this storm's definitely producing some severe hazards there in Phillipsburg, Kansas. So make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows. I loved algebra. I didn't even mind geometry either. Geometry was a little bit annoying, but I didn't really, like, hate it. Then y'all should help me. Nah, dude. If you put any algebra problem in front of me, I'd butcher it. I haven't done algebra in, like, 2 years now. You don't use it in the real world. I'm sorry. As much as your parents told you that you'd probably use algebra in the real world, unless you're going into, you know, unless you're trying to be an astronaut, you're probably not going to use it. It is useful, though, for some things. Like what Catman said, meteorology. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. HRRR still wants those storms to initiate, but I'm going to have to disagree with it. My mom and dad said you're never going to use algebra. Man! Hey, you got some honest parents right there. You might end up using it, though. You never know. You never know. Stay in school, though. You won't regret wasting 18 years of your life. I want to go to that new severe storm here. It's one for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds in Oxford. That's very linear. The tornado, this is going to be near zero. Thanks to that linear look. We got a report of a rotating wall cloud now. That is going to be on this storm. So this storm is indeed now rotating via storm chasers. So if you are down the line of this, that's going to be going towards like Franklin, Nebraska, Bloomington, Nebraska. Just make sure you're close. Make sure you're getting your safe spot ready just in case. Just start getting it ready. But hopefully this storm will just start to die out. It's going to have a very short window of trying to rotate. I said 550 is when it was going to attempt at rotating, and it seems like I was 5 minutes off. It still doesn't look the best on radar, but we have a report of a rotating wall cloud. Okay, let me go to the HRRR. HRRR still wants storms to fire. And end up becoming hail producers west of Wichita about 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight. I really just don't agree with that. Oh, well, we got another storm that's going to try to sustain. Look at it. We got another tiny little rain shower right here west of in Maxville. This is Kansas, I think. Yeah, Kansas. We'll see if that ends up surviving or not. Now we got a storm going up northeast of Russell, so we're starting to see some storms fire up, but they're not really robust. The only robust storm we have is really this supercell here, and then our line that's in southern Kansas. So really just two storms to watch. We'll still keep an eye and check with these storms here every now and then, just to see if they're trying to do anything. But again, we do have a report of a wall cloud on this cell here. Most likely on the southern side, right in that area. I didn't see the exact location of the report. I don't know if they put a location of the report. Let's see if I can find it. No, they did not put an exact location. All right. Go back here. So we're going to keep watching this storm. We're up to 3 severes now. We'll be back down to 2 in just 2 minutes. So we're staying at 3 severes for 2 more minutes until that one expires, and then we'll be back down to 2. So like I said, this cluster is really going to be producing a lot of lightning, some damaging winds, and isolated large hail. And it could even rotate. So you do want to be indoors, away from doors and windows, and watching this storm closely. This storm here is going to be a small hail threat, primarily a wind threat, as it goes to Oxford, Nebraska. Really curious to see if our little tiny rain shower can survive. See if your echo tops can get tall enough to survive. We're gonna have to see like 35-foot echo tops in order for that storm to actually be able to thrive at all. This storm's getting close. Actually, this storm's past the threshold. 35,000 feet up. That's probably enough to tap into that environment that is favorable for damaging winds and isolated hail. We might even have some very small hail out here. That is to the east of Osborne, if that's how you say that. That is in north central Kansas. I sure do, Catman. Oh, are you going to drive, Caleb? Make sure everybody's off the road first. Yeah, the new HRRR is just wrong. It's just straight up wrong. It's still very confident on an all hazards threat from a singular cell in south central Kansas. But this time now, it's pushed it back to 7:30. It's pushed it back. So, on the last model run, it said 6. On the new model run, it says 7:30. I really don't think it's going to do anything. I really don't think it's going to end up doing anything, but sure. Maybe it could try something. There's Tor Possible. There's a Tor Possible. I think that's the first Tor Possible of the day. We now have a severe thunderstorm warning for a tornado possible, 1-inch hail, and 60-mile-an-hour winds. This is going to be for Phillipsburg in Kansas. So basically now your preparation should be indoors, away from doors and windows, and stay close to your safe spot just in case a tornado warning gets issued in the next couple of minutes on this storm. And the area of potential rotation was to the northeast of Phillipsburg with this general area here, which is now moved up even further away from Phillipsburg. Glad I see you in here, Carson. We should get a new mesoanalysis in about 10 minutes or so as well. Yeah, I mean, that HRRR is just, it's not going to depict this correctly. It also says that there's, like, barely any threat up here in this area. It literally has, like, this storm just being a very weak line, and it completely butchered this. I mean, it has this storm actually being a tiny rain shower. So the new HRRR didn't even initiate correctly. It also thinks that we have a small line of rain showers to maybe a thunderstorm in this area, which we can clearly see is not true. We do have some rain showers that are starting up on the north side of what the HRRR is saying, but I don't think those storms are going to do anything. I don't think we have any updrafts that are going to be able to sustain. Now, if we get an updraft that can sustain, then that's where we might have to start worrying about an all hazards threat kicking up here. Yeah, let me show that actually. I don't know if everybody in here saw the community post I did, so I'll go ahead and show that. Let me go ahead and get SAR imagery of Oscar. So here's SAR imagery of Oscar as it made landfall. I don't know when. Was that yesterday when it made landfall? I think it made landfall. Yeah, yesterday. Yesterday, right around 5 p.m. Is when it made landfall, or 6 p.m. About 24 hours ago. And yeah, just from this alone, if we go to your wind speeds, this is 100 knot wind speeds, which I believe 100 knot is major hurricane status. And it definitely reached on SAR imagery at least extremely high in Cat 2. At least extremely high in Cat 2. If not major hurricane status. Again, there's your SAR imagery, which is possibly one of the best things ever. One thing I gotta show you guys on this, just while I'm on this site. What was it? 2023, and I think it was in the Western Pacific. Where is it? Maywar, this one. I just wanted to show you guys this. That's Maywar from 2023 last year. I forgot what wind speeds it was at. Yeah, very random, but that's just one of the stronger systems I've seen on SAR imagery. So that's what a Category 5 would look like on SAR imagery. And that was in the Western Pacific, of course, but just to go back to Oscar again, preferably this year. There it is at, well, this is actually once it made landfall. Like, it was already declared landfall, I think, an hour prior before this imagery was taken. So there's a very good chance that before, and either just barely before or during landfall, it was at major hurricane status. My war was 185. Jeez. Is it that, I believe Milton got to 185. I'm pretty sure Milton had an update from the NHC. It was a special update that said 185, and then the official update was actually 180. Like the main advisory. So we're going to continue to watch these little rain showers that are trying to intensify, but I highly doubt any of them will actually be able to. These storms are going to carry a very, very small hail threat, mainly just heavy rainfall, isolated lightning. So we still have that tour possible severe for 23 more minutes, and we still have a normal severe for 38 more minutes. Nope, not crazy at all today. We have the potential for a spin-up tornado, but overall, it looks like this is going to be an underperforming risk due to cloud cover. Just too much afternoon convection. Afternoon convection made us have lower lapse rates. We had lower instability. We had a higher capping, and that overall just leads to a messier, sloppy, severe threat. I'm not a fan of eggnog. Yeah, I'm not gonna agree with that one, Legacy. I'm sorry. um, yeah, this is the full view right now of what we're seeing across Kansas and Nebraska. Like I said, mainly damaging winds, some small hail up here in south central Nebraska. And of course, an all hazards threat with this severe in north central Kansas. We're watching these storms here, which have some isolated lightning activity, could potentially have very, very small hail. And we're also watching for any storms that may develop in this area. But I really don't think anything will develop there. Now, if something develops far south, like west of Pratt or somewhere in this area, that's where it could sustain itself because we have a better environment that far south, which is why I was thinking these little showers right at my cursor. We had like 4 rain showers that formed. I was thinking one of them might be able to sustain, but they all died out really quick. So Uh, not really that crazy of severe weather just yet. We've had a tour possible severe. We've had a 1.75-inch hail, and we've had upwards of 60-mile-an-hour winds. So we'll see. We'll see. But it seems like all 3 of these days have had the exact same ordeal. You know, near 2-inch hail, 60 to 70-mile-an-hour winds, and a potential tornado. It seems like every last one of these days have had that same thing. Today, yesterday, and the day before that. Now, today I haven't seen anything that looked like a tornado. I haven't seen any potential tornado reports. I didn't check to see if they confirmed the one from yesterday. Okay, still no confirmed tornado from yesterday or the day before, which is good news. So it's been primarily a hail and a wind threat. Primarily a wind and hail threat here. Which is good news. Let's see. I mean, that's... It still has a good look. Look at that. This still has a supercell look to it. It still has a really good supercell look to it. You can still see the RFD. Your forward flank downdraft is back in this area. And you have your inflow right in there. And of course, you have your hail core all in this area. And that's your main supercell structure, of course. And then your hook echoes obviously right there. Just not a lot of rotation, if any, with it. So it might have like a... There may be a wall cloud at the... You know, at the surface, but in terms of it rotating in all levels, it's not rotating at all in all levels. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying the coverage so far, I'd appreciate if you hit that like button, share the live stream with family, friends, social media, and if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button to support the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Let's see here. Okay. Well, I mean, that's still continuing there. When does this expire again? 33 minutes and 18 minutes. We do have a storm that's trying here. It's finally up to red DBZ now. West of Hudson in south central Kansas. Almost dead central Kansas, actually. I still don't think they'll be able to sustain at all. I mean, maybe it could sustain as a light rain shower, but that's probably it. I don't know when the 22ZHRRR will render, and I imagine that's going to take a little while. It's currently 22Z. We're going to wait for the new mesoanalysis to come in here. See what that says. Okay, it's not fully in yet. I was refreshing it, waiting to see if it was. Welcome, Girl Dev. Glad to see you back in here. You haven't had much severe weather in your neck of the woods. We had a small threat like a week and a half ago or so, but it amounted to just rain. So that's the progression of this threat so far. Just a lot of lightning, some hail, some isolated damaging winds. We had a wall cloud report northeast of Phillipsburg. And that's about it. At least so far. Like I said, your main threat does continue all the way till 8 o'clock, but I just really don't see much happening. Really, the main area to watch is going to be now in this area here. We'll see if the National Weather Service is considering anytime soon issuing a new severe thunderstorm watch into like Kearney, Nebraska, Hastings, Grand Island, these areas here. They might do a small expansion. Sometimes they'll just issue, you know, like a few county expansion there. I wouldn't be shocked if they do that. I don't think it's going to require a full watch by itself because these storms should die out very quickly. So I don't know exactly when. I don't know when they'll die out quickly, but eventually they will. According to the HRRR, they will die out very quickly. Yeah, at like 11 o'clock, which like I said, I disagree with that as well. Let me show you the new HRRR. This is what the HRRR thinks the radar looks like right now. And it's not that far off. This storm is bigger and also to the southeast. This storm is just not here. This line is slightly more to the east. And this is just non-existent. We have some light rain there, but nothing like, you know, decent. Nothing like that. And over the next few hours, it takes that shower, kind of weakens it, and then strengthens it, takes the line, dissipates it, and then takes a big supercell through Wichita at like 11 o'clock, rather 9, 10 o'clock tonight. I don't think this model run just seems to be messed up in every way. I think this line will continue to move eastward and slowly weaken over the next hour. I think this storm that's in here is going to keep pushing to the northeast and weaken in about an hour, 15 minutes. I don't personally believe we'll see any convection down in that area anymore. Unless something big changes and we can get a steady updraft going. Which currently doesn't look likely. I mean, we finally have a lightning strike, but it's not, you know, the storm's not south enough. Like I said, it's got to be in and south of Pratt, somewhere in here. It's got to be somewhere near Pratt. This is in Kansas. In order for us to see something sustain. All right, there's your new meso analysis. Yeah, it is definitely, the threat's definitely increasing or decreasing. My bad, decreasing. Where I have circled in here, we have a capping that is already built in place. The instability is already weakening. Back up here, the instability is decreasing. The capping's already starting to increase. So just an already decreasing severe threat, but I still think we'll be able to maintain a severe storm or two over the next 2 hours here, probably in this general vicinity here, as well as if we can get anything to really get going with these rain showers. Still have a supercell look south of Bloomington, Nebraska. I mean, it's not the best look, but just on reflectivity, it still looks okay. Let me see here. Jay, if you do live in that area, hopefully you did evacuate. I'm hoping that's why you didn't actually get to ride out Milton, because it's not a smart idea to meet a Category 2, 3 hurricane head on. And that one was definitely that was definitely a very powerful hurricane as it approached south of Tampa. I'd see you later, Caleb. Thanks for tuning in. There won't be any content over like the next couple days, so I'll probably end up seeing you in the next live stream in like 3-4 days or so. I don't know when it will be. I know it's just gonna be a while because I want to take a pretty good break, and then we'll hop back on here and start talking about, the tropics and that severe weather potential. Okay. Oh, Catman, were you not here in the live stream yesterday? Man, this dude. He's a mod on the channel too. Can you imagine? Wasn't even here yesterday. I'm 95% sure I remember him being here yesterday though. I do want to see what the JTWC has on that. See if they've increased that forecast. They've actually decreased it. They no longer have it becoming a hurricane for the Philippines. Of course you weren't. Of course you weren't, Catman. Happy early birthday, Girl Dev. Try to remind me on November 6th. I'm sure we'll be live close to that date. I mean, right now, according to the GFS, there should be the potential for some cooler weather, not really severe weather on that day. If that happens, November 6th is just going to be a cold day for you out there in Indiana. Interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on that area. There is a small area of red and green velocities right here. We could have some weak rotation on the northern edge of this line. That's very common. It's quite common that we see little areas of rotation on the northern sides of lines. It is not rare by any means. So we'll just keep an eye on that, see if that tightens up over the next few scans or not. It has tightened over like the last 5-6 scans, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Curious to see if we get a severe thunderstorm warning here for like the Bloomington area, Riverton, Franklin, South Central Nebraska. Of course, Phillipsburg. I'm sure you guys are going to stay inside a severe warning. I know it expires in 8 minutes, but we're probably going to end up with a new one thanks to that hail core that is formed just to y'all southwest. You can see a pretty good hail core that is formed over Speed west of Glade in Kansas. So we'll continue to monitor the hail and isolated wind threat, but not really much significant weather happening. I don't know what I'm doing on Halloween, Haley. Probably nothing much. I've never been big on Halloween. The only thing I celebrate Halloween for is getting closer to Christmas. So we'll continue to monitor these storms here. That area of rotation already, you could see on the last scan here, the newest scan, that rotation's already broken apart a bit. Hopefully that does continue. Got a hail spike out here in Speed and Glade. Look at that. Pretty good hail spike. That's indicating that we're probably seeing some large hail. Not really that good on CC in terms of hail falling, but we're probably seeing some large hail fall in and to the west of Glade, Kansas. Are we going to try again? Are we trying again? That's exactly where I was thinking storms could try to fire. See if these can sustain. They are right where I was talking about, west of Pratt. Maybe we end up with a severe threat out here after all. We're now down to 1 severe warning for the next 8 minutes. They canceled that one on our line here. If I go to Radar Omega, they still have a special weather statement in place for 50-mile-an-hour winds and half-inch hail. That's going to go towards Atlanta and Holdridge and Loomis in south central Nebraska. Right where that bows is where the best chance for damaging winds will be. So literally exactly where they have that special weather statement. See you later, Carson. You do not waste time in here, do you? You tune in and then book it. Busy man. Let me see. All right, well, we're still going to stay live for longer here. We're going to stretch it all the way to 2 hours. Just in case anything does happen, we'll be live here. I do want to see them issue a new severe, because I'm very confident they will. And I'm also curious to see if they're going to put out an MCD anytime soon. Yeah, we still don't have an MCD. Of course, we have our severe thunderstorm watch that's in place. You can see it there in the yellow. But these storms are already, some of these are already moving out of the watch area. Your low pressure is generally somewhere like in here, I believe. And then you have your cold front. Actually, I don't know exactly where your low pressure is. It's hard to tell. I think your low might actually be up here. So your low might be up here with your cold front going down like this. I have to look at the mesoanalysis. I'll have to check. Let's see. All right, so your low is approximately here. And that's low pressure. Let me fix that. So you have a low here. That goes into a warm front, which goes up this way. And then you have your low pressure, which goes down, or your cold front, I should say, which goes down like that. So, yeah. You have a low here that goes into a warm front, and a low here that goes into the cold front, of course. Our normal severe weather setup. So as this cold front pushes through, anywhere behind that is that severe risk is going to be done. So your main threat for severe weather is still going to be focused in this corridor here. We could see an isolated severe storm here, and I'm still going to watch towards Pratt just in case that updraft can get going. See you later, Jay. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome back, Caleb. I'll definitely be live to see the 22ZHRRR here, see what that shows for tonight. We're 6 likes away from our like goal, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. Let me get the HWARF model here. I want to look at, Let me go to the HMON. HMON doesn't have it. Dang it. I'm looking at the Western Pacific. We definitely could see a typhoon in the Western Pacific, but it will be most likely after it passes through the Philippines. And now we have hurricane models rendering in for, what is it? I forgot its name. Christie in the Eastern Pacific. And there's that new severe thunderstorm warning. I was waiting for that one. 1.5-inch hail, so they've increased that, as well as 60-mile-an-hour winds. And they also issued a new severe warning for the very small storm out here in far north central Kansas for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. You can see that tiny little hail core right there. I mean, that storm is sustaining an updraft. It might still be just a tiny bit too far north, but that's probably the best chance we've had to see a severe weather threat popping off here near Pratt. I'm going to go ahead and close all this out really quick. There we go. What do these counties look like? Oh, great. They're all just boxes. So that there, yeah, so this is still a capped environment. So that updraft has to get going really quick if it wants to survive. But yeah, we're gonna see if the SPC issues a MCD here or not. I'm starting to think they won't, just because the severe threat is probably going to remain so isolated after these storms get out of the watch area. That severe watch, though, goes for another 5.5 hours. Why? I don't really know. I don't really know. Because storms are going to be out of that severe watch in like an hour and a half or two. An hour and a half to 2 hours, storms are going to be out of that watch area. This whole area here is done with severe weather. So this whole watch, all these watches here, all these counties, they are all done with severe weather. All of them. So that's like half of your watch that is done with severe weather. There's another severe warning for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds for this storm. They extended that because you can see that hail core is still very much present there. All 3 of those new severe warnings go for 44 more minutes. And none of them are tour possible. This one in Phillipsburg is the one that is the most interesting. We have 2 quite large hail cores on it. We might even see eventually a new severe storm get issued. I don't know if they were going to issue a severe. I feel like they would have already issued it for Bloomington, Franklin, Riverton, in this area here. But either way, Franklin in south central Nebraska, you could have some hail heading your way. Let me go back over to this. Okay, still not coming in yet. We're getting some lightning activity south of Great Bend in Kansas. That's really going to stage just a lightning and heavy rain shower threat. That's it. It shouldn't be anything greater than that. Keyword is shouldn't. Because it could end up strengthening, but it shouldn't. The environment is not supportive. Pretty much, I mean, really anything south of this area, right about here, anywhere south of this area and here is just unsupportive of any severe weather development generally in that area. So all of these storms that have fired, it's not supportive of severe thunderstorm development. Now, you can still see some lightning and heavy rain, of course, but like an actual severe storm where we see 60-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail or so, the environment doesn't support that. But like I said, far south near Pratt, the environment is good, and then up here, it's also good. So still the 2 areas that I mentioned an hour and a half ago, that's exactly where we've seen, and we're still seeing storms trying to fire. Well, the north one, we've had severe weather. The south one, storms have consistently tried to fire and just haven't succeeded. So I've been partially right. From the get-go, though, this was expected to be our main severe weather threat. We still had a conditional threat for all hazards here. Hence why that 2% tornado risk went all the way far south. But the main threat was always right out in front of that low pressure. Yeah, we're probably getting some large hail here south of Phillipsburg. I mean, these are definitely some quite large, or rather quite high-end reflectivity values here. See what GR2 thinks. GR2 thinks we are seeing up to 1.7-inch hail. Kind of surprised it's not a little bit more than that, just because, I mean, those reflectivity values, man, I mean, we have a big hail core here. You have a big hail spike. So that's, I mean, that's definitely getting towards potentially significant hail. Yep, there goes the updraft. It's starting to die out northwest of Pratt. So we actually did see some rain and isolated lightning in this area. I was very much questioning if that was going to happen or not, if we were going to manage to see any type of storms fire. But we did. They just were not strong at all. Why do both of those look like they're hooking like crazy? They don't on this side, but look at this side. Like on this side here, it looks like this one's hooking like crazy, and this one's hooking like crazy. That's because of smoothing. If we switch over to our analysis radar, you can tell clearly this one's not hooking anymore. And this one, I mean, that's just probably a cell merge, maybe? Not really much happening there. So mainly just a hail and wind threat. This one's definitely some large hail there in Phillipsburg and Glade. This one is a smaller hail threat, still a wind threat. This, according to the National Weather Service, I mean, they haven't issued a new warning, so that storm's probably just a small hail threat and isolated wind threat there. It's still partially in a severe, though. Waiting to see if we get any larger hail reports out of Glade. Not yet. Oh, I don't have that, do I? Oh, this is what I was looking for the other day. This is the hail size based on MRMS. You can see that says 1.2-inch hail. This is what I was looking for the other day. I didn't think it had, I didn't think this program had it, but it does. Which one is this, though? It is the 1, 2, 3, fourth one. Interesting. Oh, hey, there's our MCD. That's what I was waiting for. That is what I was waiting for. Hold on, let me go back to this really quick. Give me just a second. We'll let that MCD render in whilst I check this. Okay. Let me go back over here. That's still not rendering. Let's go here. Go to the NWS, mesoscale discussions. The threat for hail and some localized severe gusts and possibly a tornado will continue into the early evening hours. Let's see. It remains uncertain if any watch expansion will be needed to the east in the short term. Threat for hail, localized gusts, and a tornado will continue. I really don't think we have much of that tornado threat left, honestly. It's still possible, but I don't think we have much of a chance left. So they're unsure if they're going to need an expansion of the watch here. If they do expand it, it's probably going to be into these few counties here. Probably these counties in and around this area if they do end up expanding that severe watch. Because that's where we have the best opportunity for storms to sustain, move into the environment, and potentially become or sustain severe limits there. And these storms, like I said, I really don't think they're going to get their act together. They've tried multiple times, but they're not able to sustain. We do have a few special weather statements on them now. This one is now special weather statemented for 55, or nope. Nickel-sized hail. It's moving northeast at 55 miles an hour, but the hazard is nickel-sized hail, which is very small hail. I believe this is one of the storms I was talking about for a small hail threat. This special weather statement, which is literally the storm's already... I mean, almost the whole storm's out of that special weather statement now. But it's special weather statemented for 50-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail as well. Just small hail, basically. But yeah, we're gonna continue to watch these. Even after I end the live stream, I'll still keep an eye on it. But I'm probably not gonna end up live streaming again tonight. And we're only 5 likes away from our like goal. So if anyone who hasn't hit the like button is in the stream, make sure you hit that like button. It's greatly appreciated, and it helps us get pushed out to the YouTube algorithm. Let me go here. Okay. I want to wait for that HRRR to render in. That's what I'm waiting for. To see what it shows. Still keeping an eye on this northern edge, just in case it tries to rotate. It doesn't look that impressive, but I mean, there's still a velocity couplet there, west of Holdridge. What does GR2 think about that? Yeah. Just a little broad area of rotation. Hopefully that disappears next scan. Okay, yeah. We're still at 3. Still at 3. Severe warnings here. This one in Stamford has definitely weakened quickly. The one in Phillipsburg, the hail threat's definitely... Look at that. Look at the hail spike dissipate really quick. So, and this one too. So all 3 of these storms have definitely weakened. This one in Holdridge might actually be intensifying just a bit. But we'll keep an eye on that. See if it ends up strengthening more or not. Let me go back over here. I'm going to close this out. You could get some light rain, Haley, but I don't think you'll see thunderstorms. Most of these rain showers should dissipate before they get to you, so you'll have a chance of rain tonight towards like 10 o'clock central, but I don't think it will be anything like thunder, lightning, or anything severe. You could get some rain out of it. But even that rain chance is a little bit low because they should die off before it gets to you. So these severe storms here, well, we just lost one. So that brings us down to 2. But the other 2 severes expire in 32 minutes. Those most likely still keep this severe because it has a lot of lightning activity. It has a good hail course still. Could have some damaging winds. They might end up taking off that severe storm if it loses its lightning activity. We'll see if they end up taking that off early or not. And that storm in Pratt, it's not sustaining, which is great news. I'm really curious. Come on, HRRR. I really want to see what you have before I end the stream. Why are you taking so long to load in? Just to show you how inactive it is until Saturday. Until this upcoming Saturday. Here's the 5-day rainfall forecast from the official Weather Prediction Center. The only rain they really have being, you know, potentially, well, I mean, really the only, like, main rain they have is this here, which is from our severe threat today and our chance for lightning tomorrow in Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois. And then, of course, in far northwestern Oregon as well, or Washington. That's Washington and Oregon, where we could see some atmospheric rainfall up there. The threat for severe weather tomorrow, though, is very little. We have a 0.5 risk for severe weather tomorrow. That's a thunderstorm risk. If Caleb's still here, Caleb, you could see a lightning strike tomorrow. That's about the high end for tomorrow, though. The most we see tomorrow is a lightning strike. That shows you how low the severe threat is, so we're not going to be live for that. But currently looks like the severe threat is decreasing quickly. This storm's died out quite rapidly. It still has a little hail core left. A little hail core left right in Stamford, but it's dying out as fast as it possibly can at the moment. Finally got a special weather statement for Riverton for 50-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail, so just make sure you guys are away from doors and windows. So I really think the main threat will end up being this storm, and it's going to end up being hail, isolated damaging winds for the next 45 minutes before that weakens. All of these storms will continue to be very sporadic, but most likely just weaken. This storm is probably going to continue to weaken, but could still have a small hail threat, isolated wind threat with it. And this storm should just die off here and become embedded in that line and also be weaker. So main threat over the next hour and 15 minutes is probably going to end up being in that area here. So in Phillipsburg, Kansas, pointing to the northeast all the way until like Blue Hill, Nebraska. Still waiting on that HRRR. I'd really like to see it. It takes forever to render in. Let's see. Yeah, but after the stream ends, you are welcome to go watch my video I uploaded earlier today about the severe threat that we're literally covering right now. At the moment, that tornado threat hasn't verified. Hopefully that continues and we end up seeing just some light rain tonight, and that's about it. And we will see. We'll see if anything else happens tonight. Like I said, I'll still keep an eye on it, but I'm not going to end up going live again tonight unless it's something, you know, unless it's something big. But we'll see. I don't plan on going live. I don't think this severe threat's going to do anything too shocking. Looked pretty good this morning, looked okay this afternoon, and then looked terrible at 4 or 5 o'clock today. At 5, really 5 o'clock, yeah. 5 o'clock is when it started to look terrible. I still can't rule out a tornado somewhere inside this this tornado risk here. Most specifically, of course, where those storms haven't gone yet, where they're traveling now. So this general area here still can't rule out a brief spin up tornado over the next hour and 12 minutes all the way till 8 o'clock tonight Eastern time. But it's definitely low. It is definitely low. So like I said, I'm going to be taking a break probably all the way until like Thursday or so. Thursday, Friday, just depends on which day I'll be available. Or until we get some better information on what's going to happen in the future. It's going to be very inactive. You know, if the channel's inactive, then that means that the weather's inactive. So we'll probably end up doing a gaming live stream, I imagine at least once over the next 3 or 4 days. Since it's relatively on the inactive side. So you have that to look forward to if you watch the gaming channel. And yeah, I'm still going to stay here for just a little bit longer. I want to just give it another like 5 minutes to see if that HRRR renders in or so. Hopefully it will. I mean, 5 minutes is enough time for it to get 2 frames in, which is really all we need. We really only need like the next 2 hours. Because I don't think anything will happen after that. Let's see. So we'll just wait and see. Wait and see if this HRRR loads. It's if I had to guess, it's probably going to show these storms dying out in the next hour and a half, maybe 2. And it's probably going to show all these storms dying out in the next 2 hours. And it's most likely going to show this rain all dying out in the next 2 hours as well. So I imagine it's going to show everything dying out in 2 hours. I don't think we'll see much after 8:30 Eastern. But yeah, it seems like this HRRR is not going to work with me here. Let's go look at our storms again, make sure they're not doing anything crazy. Yeah, this storm, yeah, wow. This storm fell apart very fast in Stamford. The one in Holdridge, you should definitely be ready for 60-mile-an-hour winds, a half-inch hail. Wait, hold on. Is it 50-mile-an-hour winds? 50-mile-an-hour winds and half-inch hail. You should be ready for as that storm's approaching you right now. Make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows if you're in Holdridge, Nebraska. And we still have some hail falling here, probably around an inch in diameter to the northeast of Phillipsburg. Phillipsburg, your threat is now over for severe weather. Like I said, if you're behind that cold front, which is generally in here, your threat's done. So still have an isolated threat for, you know, a couple lightning strikes and some very heavy rainfall in this area. Maybe some gusty winds and very small hail as well. Really just the risk for rainfall in this portion of the risk. Really just rain. And then the main area is in between that where we have the threat for still a brief tornado could happen, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and 1-inch hail will all be possible until about 8:30 Eastern. Here comes our HRRR. Wow. Literally last minute it starts to render. And it shows all this stuff that I've circled down in here. Put a big square all in here. It shows all this dying out in the next 10 minutes. I think it's going to take longer to do than that. But you never know. We'll still watch and see what happens. But I don't think it's going to die out that soon. Hold on, I got to quickly do this. Let me turn off my camera. Bear with me just a second. Okay. We should be good. I had to get something. Nope, not that button. That kind of made me jump because I thought I ended the stream for a second. I'm going to wait for one more frame of the HRRR, but primarily just what I did. You know, not pretty much no threat down here. Storms dying off in the next hour or so. Just rain in this area. And then an isolated severe threat. Still, again, can't fully rule out a tornado. But primarily your threat for severe weather is done. Which is good news. That is, of course, good news. So we're going to start wrapping it up here soon. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. As well as the mods for modding chat. Not going to be any content on here for at least what's today, Monday, so definitely nothing tomorrow or Wednesday. I can tell you that we won't have anything tomorrow or Wednesday. Possible live stream or video Thursday, and then a possible live stream Friday or Saturday. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but I'll have some content out here between Thursday and Saturday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm gonna upload sometime then. And then as we go into Sunday, that's when we'll probably really start picking up on, you know, if we have severe weather activity and tropical activity or not. Like I said, we have like a good solid 5 days without pretty much anything to talk about. This storm north of McCook decided to just intensify out of nowhere. I don't know where that thing came from. Just popped up literally out of absolutely nowhere. 50-mile-an-hour winds, nickel-sized hail. But all right, that's going to be it for me. A bit of a flash warning in the background here as I load up what we've covered. Thank you guys for tuning in to the live stream. Thank you to especially all those who tuned in to the 3 live streams we had over the last 3 days. Overall, I think we did about 7 hours of coverage. Let's see, we did 2 hours, so that's 4.5 right there. So we did 6.5 hours of severe weather coverage over the last 3 days. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching every last one of them. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. If I somehow don't see you all the way till like Saturday, the best day for me to stream is probably going to end up being Thursday, but I just don't know if we'll have enough content to talk about. So we'll see. I don't know. Just stay tuned to the community posts on this channel and I'll let you know what I'm doing. And like I said, I should have a gaming stream sometime with Lucky tomorrow or Wednesday. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Again, severe weather is still going to be possible in the northeastern side of that risk for severe weather. So if you do live in like Franklin or Riverton, I'd keep an eye out. We are down to just one severe ending the live stream. We're down to just a single severe storm for the next 19 minutes. And yeah, again, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you guys in whenever my next live stream or video is, because like I said, I really don't know when it will be. Thank you, mods, for mod and chat. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in once again over the last 3 days of this severe weather coverage. Thankfully, we didn't have any confirmed tornadoes, which is great news. Stay safe. Watch severe weather in the tropics. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Have a great rest of your night. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch severe weather in the tropics, and I'll see you guys in my next live stream. Have a fantastic rest of your night. Goodbye.